My name is David Andrews, and today I'm going to reveal the two deadliest diabetes lies told by doctors, pharmaceutical companies, and those so-called experts. You'll see how the one man responsible for 90% of these diabetes lies was recently arrested for medical fraud. But the diabetes industry keeps selling you his fake research. Today, I'll prove once and for all how everything you've been taught about managing diabetes is dead wrong. I'll tell you how to know if your doctor's been lying to you. And I'll reveal the scientifically proven pancreas jumpstart technique, which forces your pancreas to start producing insulin again, reversing your type 2 diabetes in as little as 11 days. It's based on medical research at Newcastle University in England, and it's already been proven to work in multiple studies and used successfully by over 38,317 people. And you can start using the pancreas jumpstart technique and start reversing your diabetes today, all with low-cost foods that you can pick up at any grocery store. But I'll warn you, the $245 billion diabetes industry, they're furious that you're watching this presentation right now. They want to keep you on diabetes life support, robbing you blind with their criminally priced insulin shots and oral medications, which don't fix your diabetes and come packed with painful side effects. The liars and thieves in the diabetes industry, they don't want you to know about this breakthrough 3-step method to easily destroy your diabetes. And they don't want you to see the science and research that prove this method works. Because once you know these secrets, you can completely and permanently reverse your type 2 diabetes or prediabetes in as little as 11 days. Hey, it doesn't matter how long you've had the disease. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if your blood sugar levels are sky high. With the Pancreas Jumpstart, you'll be free from annoying insulin shots and painful finger pricks. You'll say goodbye to useless medicines that make you feel sick, gain weight, and increase your risk of heart attack. You'll stop worrying about risky surgeries, amputations, and early death. There'll be no more fear of painful, tingling neuropathy in your feet and hands and everywhere else in your body. You'll remove the stress of wondering when your vision will completely fail and you're blind for the rest of your life. You can break the chains of always watching what you eat, always checking your blood sugar, and always feel like a burden on your family and friends. You'll feel full of energy. You'll be able to eat your favorite foods again. You'll be able to go anywhere and finally feel free again. Just like Andrew from Battleground, Washington, who said, "Your presentation showed me that the solution to my diabetes was easier than I ever imagined, and you had the science to back it up. I thought I'd be stuck with diabetes forever. But now I've been diabetes-free almost 18 months. My doctor was shocked when I told him that I didn't need my insulin shots anymore. He had to test my blood sugar himself just to believe it. The best part is, the steps I learned in this presentation reversed my diabetes in just 10 days. And Doug from Salt Lake City, Utah, who said, "I tried those fake cure diabetes programs, and they were just big bottles of snake oil. Almost as bad as the diabetes pharmaceutical industry keeping me sick so they can keep taking my money. I'm so glad I found a real way to reverse my type 2 diabetes. It's not untested junk science. It's real, proven, practical ways to get your body to regulate your blood sugar again. I'm living proof that it works. I haven't needed diabetes medication for over 6 months. Everybody with type 2 diabetes needs to watch this video right now so they can reverse their diabetes in just 2 weeks. Listen, it's not your fault you had this disease, and it's not an issue of skinny or fat. All you have to do is reprogram your body to start regulating blood sugar again. The best part is, the Pancreas Jumpstart doesn't require any special equipment or weird foods. It's just a simple program you can do right from your own home. In fact, you can start it as soon as you watch this video and be diabetes-free as soon as next week. Make sure you watch to the end of the presentation so you can see the scientific research that shows you how it all works. So turn off your cell phone, grab a pen and paper, and get ready to take notes. You're about to learn how to destroy your diabetes. First, let me introduce myself. My name is David Andrews. I'm 51. I have a wife and 2 kids. I'm the head chef at a 5-star restaurant near Washington, D.C., and just like you, I used to suffer from type 2 diabetes. I felt tired all the time. I couldn't eat my favorite foods, only bland, boring meals. Heck, I actually became a chef because I love food in the first place, and now I was banned from eating all the tasty food that I enjoy. In fact, I always had to worry about what foods and what activities would send my blood sugar off the charts. I was a burden on my family, and I was terrified my kids would end up with type 2 diabetes, just like me. Every single day I had to prick my finger to test my blood sugar and then give myself painful shots. Between paying for health insurance and my own costs, I was spending about $2,000 a month on insulin. I tried the other diabetes medications that my doctor recommended, like metformin, Actos, or Amaryl. That was a disaster. I emptied my bank account paying the billion-dollar diabetes companies for test strips and insulin shots. I just about killed myself taking those medicines. Metformin and Actos made me feel nauseous all the time, and Actos, it just made me fat. Plus, I found a study in the New England Journal of Medicine that linked several diabetes medicines to a 43% increased risk of heart attack and a 64% higher risk of cardiovascular death. Even if the medicine worked, which it didn't, what's the point of fixing one problem if the side effects will kill you with a heart attack? I remember going on vacation with my family to the beach, but I couldn't relax. I had to spend the whole time worrying about which foods I ate, when I could eat again, and how much I could walk around before my blood sugar got out of control. I didn't realize yet that the diabetes industry wants to keep you sick. That's how they make their $245 billion annually. My type 2 diabetes was emptying my wallet, it was destroying my body, and just making my life miserable. I felt trapped. And the worst part was, I was afraid that's how I'd spend the rest of my life. You probably felt that way before, scared that your diabetes is going to make your life worse and worse until it finally decides to kill you. But as miserable as I was, it was about to get even worse. I'll never forget that day in my restaurant's kitchen. My two best assistant chefs had been poached by another restaurant. I was understaffed, and it was a Saturday evening, the busiest shift of the week. My stress was through the roof, my heart was pounding, and the kitchen felt hotter and more humid than ever. I remember receiving an order for a medium-rare steak and then feeling my knees go weak. The next thing I knew, I was waking up 3 days later in the hospital, seeing my wife and 2 kids sitting around me, their eyes red and puffy from crying. The room smelled like cleaning liquid, and I heard the steady beeping of the heart monitor. When my wife saw I was awake, she threw her arms around me and then ran to get the doctor. I'll never forget how my son and daughter looked at me, like they were watching their daddy die. My wife came back and the doctor came in. He explained what had happened. "You went into a diabetic coma," he said, "a non-ketotic hyperglycemic hyperosmolar coma. Your blood glucose level was at 1,174. One of the new chefs at my restaurant had called 911, and some quick-thinking paramedics and ER doctors had saved my life. Even today, I hate to think about what would have happened if I'd been alone that day. I'd be dead. But believe it or not, that day was about to get even worse. The doctor cleared his throat, like he was nervous about telling me something. He said, "Because your diabetes is so advanced, we'll need to remove your legs. I've scheduled the surgery for this afternoon. It's every diabetic's worst fear, amputation." "No," said my wife, "absolutely not." "I'm sorry," the doctor insisted, "but we've got no choice. We can give him another 10 years to live, but we have to operate immediately." My wife got so upset she had to sit down, and my daughter started to cry. Not only was I going to lose my legs, but I'd only lived 10 more years. While my wife argued with the doctor, I got lost in my thoughts. Amputation. Only 10 years to live. I didn't believe it. The doctor had to be wrong. That bad stuff happened to people with type 1 diabetes, not people like me with type 2 diabetes. It happened to sick people who could already barely get around, not someone like me who worked on my feet all day. What about my job? How could I run a restaurant kitchen from a wheelchair? How was I going to support my family? I'd spend the last few years of my life handicapped, unable to get around, unable to keep my family fed. The rest of my life suddenly seemed like a dark, terrifying path that I didn't want to go through. And it was all because of the greedy, lying diabetes industry who just want to keep us buying insulin shots and filling their bank accounts. If they spent some of that money actually looking for a cure, I wouldn't be in this mess. I wouldn't be dying in just 10 years. I wouldn't be missing my golden years of retirement or fully enjoying what I've worked so hard to build or playing in the backyard with my grandkids. I wanted to find these diabetes company executives and strangle them. Not that it would do me any good. I was going to lose my legs, and then I was going to die. And there was nothing I could do to change that. Now, all the time I was thinking this, my wife was arguing with the doctor. and trust me, when my wife gets upset, she tends to get what she wants. When I started listening again, she was telling the doctor, "There is no way you're cutting off his legs today. The longest we can wait is 60 days, said the doctor. "If we wait any longer, it'll be too dangerous. My wife gave a short little nod like she did when she won an argument, but I could tell by the tears forming in her eyes. She felt like she'd lost. And after all, I'd still lose my legs, and I'd still be dead in 10 years. They let me go home soon afterwards. The next week, well, it was the worst week of my life.